And welcome back to Idaho Today. Canada's longest running drama series is in its 18th season. And I had the chance to talk with Heartland star Amber Marshall about her extensive career on one of entertainment's most successful shows. And you're joining us today from Alberta, Canada, which is very fitting, right?
Yes. Yes, Alberta, Canada is where Heartland has been filmed over the past almost 2 decades, which is incredible. And I myself, I'm from Canada, but I'm from the other side of Canada. I'm from Ontario, just outside of Toronto. And so 18 years ago, I came out to Alberta for the show, and it just adopted me. I got out here and I looked at the scenery. I just loved the people. I loved the Western way of life. And I decided this is where I'm going to make my home, whether this show goes on for a year or now we're talking 18 years.
Yes, 18 years. And I mean, Heartland is Canadian television's longest running drama series. A lot of us are very familiar with Yellowstone. This is kind of like the family-friendly version, if you will. This is a show focused on family in a very ag-focused setting, right? So for those who aren't familiar, though, give us a little bit of background. Tell us where we're picking up the story in season 18.
Basically, you're following the family that lives on a ranch, lives and breathes horses and cattle, and it's a very real way of life around here. I myself live on a farm with my horses and cows and chickens and dogs and cats and all kinds of things. So I can relate to my character every day, but I think that this way of life is still very prominent. And I know it's very prominent in Idaho too. And not only that, but I feel like there's a lot of families that are moving back to that way of life.
Yes.
People that have in the city that have started raising their children in the city, and maybe they take some inspiration from Heartland or some of the other shows out there, and they say, you know what, this isn't what I want. I want to be back in nature. I want to be able to know where my food comes from, have my own garden, have my own animals, collect my eggs every morning. And I think that that's so important, and a lot of us have lost touch with that. I'm always asked, what came first, acting or horses? And they kind of came at the same time. I first started riding when I was 4 years old. I leased a pony named Tony the Pony.
Aww.
And of course, like most girls, I was horse crazy. I wanted to be with that pony every moment of the day. I would spend every hour that my parents would allow me to be there. But then at the same time, I started in theater when I was 8. So I was also in this world of acting, and I absolutely loved it. And then when I was 12 years old, I got my first acting gig on screen. And so I was kind of living both these lives. And like you said, it's like Heartland was made for me, because then all of a sudden, when I was 18 and I was trying to decide, what am I going to do? Which path am I going to take? Am I going to work with horses? Am I going to be an actor? I don't know. Heartland showed up and said, here, let's do both.
Okay, but let's dive in though to season 18. Things are pretty intense. Stakes are high.
For those of you who have seen the previous 17 seasons, thank you. Good job. You're keeping me employed. It's something that I love doing. But also you'll know the ups and downs of life that Amy has experienced in the last several years. She lost, spoiler alert, she lost her husband. So obviously that was a very traumatic many seasons following to try to get her to a spot where she felt like she could start maybe dating again or just feeling like herself again. And she's raising a young child, so she has to keep the best interest in mind of her daughter. And she starts falling for this man, but then all of a sudden we find out that he's in direct competition with the Heartland family cattle business. And so now she's going, it's kind of that Romeo and Juliet situation where born lovers are caught in the middle and the family feud on either side. And it's just one of those things where you feel for the characters, because here's Amy, who's finally putting her heart back out on the line, and all of a sudden it's with someone that her family doesn't approve of. So there's a lot of drama, but I also think that Amy really, she makes a stand this season, and she shows her family that, come on guys, like this is what's more important, business or family? Yeah. And it comes down to making those decisions and basically reuniting that family as a unit and understanding what's important.
Amber, where do we watch?
I think you can go to upfaithandfamily.com and you can watch all previous seasons as well. I am Amber Marshall from Heartland, and you are watching Idaho Today.